I have Cole on the phone too. So
Oh, that's right, he's not here.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess I need to turn this on.
Turn that on, make it green. In order to speak, you touch the button, it'll turn green, and then you can.
All right. In lieu of a president, I'll be directing the meeting today, and we'll go ahead and call the meeting into order. Would you like to do the invocation? Sure.
Yes, please. And then we'll do here we go. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this wonderful day. We're grateful to meet together in the capacity to serve the citizens of Hannibal. We ask that thy Spirit may be here in this meeting, that wisdom and truth may be spoken and shared, and that decisions will be made to bless the lives of the citizens of Hannibal. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I want to welcome Barry and Brian. You guys do your oath of office.
We're going to do that, right?
Yeah, we'll be right up here. Both come right on up. Thanks, Courtney. All right. So if you guys will both raise your right hand, I'll read the oath, and at the end, if you agree, you can affirm that by saying, I will or I do. I take the oath that I possess all the qualifications for the office to which I am chosen. I am not subject to any of the disqualifications set forth in the charter for the office or employment I am about to assume, that I will support the Constitution and the charter and ordinances of the city of Hannibal, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of this office, that in the appointment, promotion, or discharge of officers or employees, I will be influenced only by the consideration of fitness, and that in such matters I will act with impartiality and justice. I will.
Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations. Appreciate it. Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, this will be a report for election of officers. And we'll need motions for that, and I'll probably do a roll call.
Is Cole on here?
He is on the phone.
Cole, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
fine.
just making sure.
I just want to, I'll say the same. Welcome to Barry and Brian. Be looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Cole.
We won't put that on the mic.
Next time.
Perfect. So we have to do the installation of officers, and we'll start with the president. I wanted to nominate Cole for the president for a couple reasons. I'm just starting my second year, and we have two new board members. With Cole being here, this is your starting your third year, Cole?
No, it'll be starting it'll be into my
End of
second.
your second year.
The end of my second, so it'll be starting my third. I'll be, my first year will be, or my second year will be in February, the end of it. So my third year will start then.
Gotcha. So with Cole being here the longest, has the most information and knowledge of what's going on. He cares about the board, and from just the interactions, I don't really know Cole outside of this, but just the interactions I've had with him, I feel like he has been very instrumental in trying to want to work with the city, with holding people accountable and all of those things. And I think that's kind of where we really need to be moving. And so I nominate him for president.
I will second
You would second that? Okay.
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Roll call.
Painter, or Peters,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Louderman,
that. Yes.
Lucky,
Yes.
All right. So then we need, what else do we need to do?
Vice President.
Vice president.
So we'll need a motion to recommend a Vice President.
I guess I'll make that motion that Lucas keeps that role. I believe he's the acting vice president now. And with his experience, I think he's probably best suited if he's willing to accept.
I feel like I can accept that.
Okay,
Roll call. Go ahead.
Second.
yeah, we need a second.
Oh, we need a second.
I'll second that.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All right, cool.
Painter,
Yes.
Louderman,
Yes.
Lucky.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, then we'll need secretary.
I'd like to nominate Barry as secretary. I think with his past knowledge of how meetings run, I think that'll help us in our day-to-days when we do that.
I can second that. Unless you really want to be secretary.
Okay, Painter,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes,
Lucky.
Yes.
perfect. Is that all we need?
That's all we need.
All right. Now we can move on to consent of agenda. So do we need a motion for all of these three?
Yes.
Okay.
Minutes, payrolls, and claims.
So I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes from June 15th. 2020
Payrolls and claims.
Payrolls and claims.
Should you do them
I'll make-
separately?
We do them all as the consent agenda,
Do
so
you do
they're
it
all
all
approved at
separate?
once.
Okay, I'll second that.
Was there a first one?
Yeah, Cole did.
Okay, got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Comments from the audience.
We had no one sign up.
No one signed up. Is there anyone that wanted to say anything? All right. And then we'll move on to reports. General manager report.
Yes.
It says Munslinger on here.
It does. Don't get too excited too fast.
I'll take that typo.
I will try not to be too long-winded. We, two comments. Number one, we have a plaque that was for Mr. Ortworth, who served as president, served on the board for 6 years. Just wanted to really appreciate that. One of the things that we do is the value of public power. And what we've just gone through, while it may seem the public may not be overly interested, it's very important that we follow that charter. And the power that that brings is incredible. Public power is truly owned by the public, and you get to serve at their request. You've been appointed by the mayor, and the city council confirmed that, and we just great appreciation for your willingness to come in, to serve the time you're going to get. This is a complicated, it is sometimes tough, and it will not always be easy, but we're grateful for you serving. Some of the things that hometown utilities bring is low cost, lower than the stable rates. We are very competitive. We've heard that Ameren is already talking about another 13% rate increase in theirs that they're going to be going through. They are owned and operated. They're a for-profit utility, and so their rates are quite a bit higher than ours. We've got cooperatives around us, and they're very competitive, but they're also, we find ourselves equally competitive, and we do that throughout the entire state of Missouri, that we're in about the 60th percentile of the best rates. We have wonderful reliability. Matt's going to talk about that in a little bit, but we actually have an award that we got for the 2025 Certificate of Excellence in Reliability. And we'll make you guys all stand up and take a picture of you at the end of this. But it has what it says. It is from the American Public Power Association. And the award says that the Hannibal Board of Public Works has significantly exceeded the 5-year average of the top quartile of all U.S. electric utilities for reliable electric service. The utility participates in the American Public Power Association's Power Tracking Reliability, TRX, service to track its power outages and restoration against national benchmarks. And those numbers that we have are truly, truly solid. Yes, we had an outage just this morning. Again, Matt's going to cover it, so I'm not going to get into it. We've got great employees. We've got a great system and very professional. The accountability and transparency, that becomes exactly what you gentlemen get to handle for us. When there's concerns, you get to bring it. When there's questions, you get to bring it. and you should have those, and we want those, and we want to do everything we can to continue to improve. And then the community reinvestment, we are here. We give 5.5% of our revenues to the city. We help them. We help them in their budget. And so those things that are going on citywide, we help and participate in that. And then finally, economic development. We are very interested in the growth and betterment of Hannibal. We participate in that very strongly, and we do that so that we can increase the tax base, so that we can help bless the people of this community. And again, finally, my last comment is that John, we're thankful to him for his efforts here on this board. He's not able to make it, and we'll make sure he receives his plaque and our appreciation. That's all I have, other than I will tell you that we do not have Paul Hill to give the financial report, but it is in the packet. Everything that he would be covering is there, and so he'll be back. He's on vacation. Yes, we let people do that once in a while, and we'll talk about that again, in fact. But that is all I have at this time, unless there's questions or comments.
Any questions? All righty. We'll move on to the operations report. Now you get to talk.
Good afternoon. As you know, we had a large outage this morning. It knocked off Indian Mound Substation, which is the newer one located behind Lowe's, which then tripped off the Ford Street Substation over at the corner of Ford and Taylor. We got a video here to show you what will happen. I'll kind of explain what happened as well. So that's our switch that comes in from our west substation, located there behind Sleep Inn. And it comes in at 34.5 kV. And on top of that switch is this lightning arrestor. And you can see where it blew the side of it out. That's by design. It's supposed to disintegrate, give itself up to save that switch. And so the crew that responded shortly after 4 this morning didn't see this video until I showed up later. And so they weren't quite sure what had occurred. They knew there was a fault on the A phase, and they started looking. Well, because that encompasses a large area, they started looking at reports to see if they could narrow it down. They realized it was something larger than what they could do in a short amount of time, and so they went and started doing switching, which allowed circuits to be backed up, and thus we got power restored to different areas at different times. All of them roughly by 8 o'clock this morning. That's manually going out into different areas of the distribution system and using an existing circuit off of a different transformer and backfeeding all that power. So when we showed up a little after 6, we showed them the video. We were able to go over and identify this was the problem. They went out after the majority of the crew showed up at 7, our normal starting time, and did some testing, made sure all the other equipment that was in place was still operational and it didn't cause any damage to it. And then before noon, we had everything turned back to normal, fed in a normal state. So appreciate the crews getting out there and addressing that. And again, we were able to get that done before the large load of this afternoon when we got a large air conditioning load that we see at this time of year.
Did they get hit by lightning?
It may have got overcurrent, over voltage at some point. There was no lightning that I'm aware of this morning at 4 a.m. There was some lightning in the area. What was it, Saturday night? Maybe it picked up something there. It could have been some damage it received from a previous lightning storm, and the dew just went in that one crevice that allowed the electric to arc, and then it went to ground. So we're not quite sure. We're going to do some looking into it. And so, again, replacement of just a small component rather than a switch that would take months to replace and thousands of dollars. So, as part of this, you'll see our reliability report. We did drop by a thousandth of a percent to the 99.995. Again, a lot of that is attributed to juvenile birds and squirrels. I mean, we do put some squirrel guards on that require an outage that cover everything. We still have a lot of the older ones that are look like wire fingers that sticks off of it, and they're supposed to create like a static that they don't like, and so they don't stay there. The problem is this time of year with the young squirrels, the young birds are just looking for a spot to land. They can fit into some of the places that the more adult animals cannot, and the same goes for the squirrels. So we anticipate that that'll kind of rebound in the coming months, and we're also evaluating the two different kinds that we have and looking for other options as to not have to take an outage to install it. So on the water side of things, the next page of my report, you'll see we're trending a little bit lower in our total monthly water production than we did in 25 and 24, which is a good thing as we try to tackle water loss. We are in the same realm. When you look at our daily production numbers, we're still our max, our min, and our average are still right there with those previous 2 years. So that's a good thing. Big thanks to the water plant. We did finish our semi-annual basin cleaning. That's where we take each individual basin down from the intake at the river all the way through our pre-filter basins at the water plant and hose them back out. We do that twice a year. Sometimes there's more debris than others. Because of the higher river level in April and early May, we were unable to do the intake and pump house, and we did those both last month. So we do have another GAC exchange scheduled. I think he said was the 28th and 29th of this month. So again, we've got 8 GAC vessels. We exchange each of those vessels once a year, and we do it 2 at a time. So each vessel holds about 40,000 pounds of GAC material. When we originally had that installation, we bought 5 pairs worth of media. And so once they take the media out of this vessel that we're exchanging it, they'll take it back to their plant, they'll reactivate it, add the additional new material in that is necessary to it meet spec, and then they'll hold it for us until which time we schedule another GHC exchange. They'll bring our material back to us and exchange it. We did do the chemical bids for the fiscal year 27. That's something we always do in the May-June time frame, as it is a large expense. We go out to bid, get the best price on those. Water distribution, big thing there is locates. Socket Internet has came into town. And so this month you'll see we did 285 utility locates, most of them multiple block ones for socket, where in May we only did 268. Another thing the meter department completed was we installed 193 water meters. That was part of an exchange program that we implemented last year, where we're trying to exchange 10% of our water meters on an annual basis. That way we don't get to a point where they all need exchanged at one time, as the manpower and just the physical cost of the meter, it would be pretty large, and so we want to try to get that spread out. Another benefit of it is manufacturers say, or they don't guarantee, but they say the lifespan of their water meter is about 10 years, and so we're trying to get that on a rotation as we address the water loss issue. Would like to acknowledge some other people's help in that process. We have the inventory that makes sure that we have the inventory of materials that we need to change out those meters. We have the front office who does they generate the service orders, they update the info in the customer account, and they also do scheduling of appointments. IT really supported in all areas of this, and then the water and meter crew members who actually did the physical exchange of the meter. So big thing at the wastewater plant was we cleaned out a digester. I think I started here in 2007, so we cleaned out a digester in 2008 and 2009. So that's not something, that was the first time it was cleaned out since it went online in the early 80s. And so we've increased that frequency just to make sure that we're getting the material out. You have some grit and gravel that make it through the process that'll settle out, and we went ahead and took care of that and disposed of that. And while we're doing that, we're also checking for the structural integrity of that vessel. Sewer crew, they assisted with that clean out of that digester with the use of the vac truck. Those holes, I think, are about 14, 15 feet deep, and we're able to use those vac trucks to pull that material out with minimal effort from the crews. Other than that, they focused on cleaning and TVing, taking advantage of the warmer, drier weather, and getting caught back up with that. And they also have been working on manhole raising. If you went down a street that was recently paved, you'll see a concrete donut around a manhole. That's where our crews come back. They cut out that asphalt, raise that manhole up to grade, and hopefully provide a smooth driving surface that will last for years into the future. So the lining project that occurred on the lines outside the flood wall and also the discharge lines of the stormwater pumping basin has been completed. 100%. The crew from SAK came back and did a couple punch list items, and so we've completed final payment with them. And then NISE related, because of the year end, we ran a process that trues up all of our data with the year end for the financials and whatnot so that we can do our auditing. We did a review of our GIS environment by an outside firm to look at our process, our equipment, and develop a path forward for us so that we're in compliance. We're meeting the new newest version of the software, or at least not the version that's on the chopping block at this point. So we're continuing to try to keep up with technology, and again, just the help with the meter change-out project. And then you'll see at the end of the report, we do have all the business office statistics. I'd take any questions if anybody has any. Questions?
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
The Park Twin Avenue project.
Uh-huh.
Any update on that? Is it moving along faster or slower? Or
I'll get to that in a minute. That's in the projects reports if you want to wait for a minute.
That was
I guess I could.
that was operations report. Do you have any operations questions, Cole?
No, I'm good.
All right. We'll move on to the projects report.
Projects report. Big thing is water loss. Again, we're trying to bring that number down as it affects a lot of areas of the water production and distribution. You'll see on the second page there, we did move our Orbis caps. I apologize for not bringing one for the new board members to see, but what it is, it goes on the pumper nozzle of the fire hydrant, and it listens during the off-peak hours. So it may listen between 2 and 4 in the morning, and it's listening for leaks, listening for consumption. And because it's out there every night at 2 o'clock in the morning, it wakes up and listens to see if it's a different noise or if it's the same noise. And then with a network out there, it can pinpoint where that noise is located based upon our map. And so if you look at the second page here in my report, you'll see where we move these Orbis caps over to an area just west of Highway 61, north of 36. And there's a couple X's down there in the Indian Mounds area. That's where they found that a couple leaks are occurring, or they think a couple leaks are occurring. So our crews will go out, correlate that with listening devices, and then go and dig them up and complete repairs. This is the second area that we've used them on. The first area was up around the Paris Avenue area, and we've had good results with it. And so just one more tool that we're able to use to help reduce water loss. So we got those moved. We're continuing to monitor different pressure or different areas through the use of a master meter and comparing that use of that, or what is going through that master meter with all of our customer meters. And so we're finishing up a water main replacement on Ernest Street, Ernest and Hayward. That was identified as an area where we had several leaks, and rather than go up and just dig a leak here and go down the street just a little bit and dig another one, we installed a new 8-inch main on Hayward and a new 6-inch main on Ernest, and that should be wrapped up this week. And so we're able to do that final tally to see what our master meter versus our customer meters are, and hopefully move on from that area. The sewer downtown SSO elimination, That's where I talked about the lining project that is now complete. We did have 2 high-level events during the month on the Patchen Street area. That's just kind of an area that we've always had some issues with heavy rainfall events and it surcharging the lift station. We did have one SSO that was a result of a heavy rain, and so our crews are continuing to monitor that area, and we'll get out there and try to identify those sources of groundwater or rainwater entering our system. North Street, Phase 1, we're waiting on them to move out that one last section that's located in that old Bridge Approach Park before they replace that sidewalk section that has been not poured. Then that'll close out Phase 1. Phase 2 is the phase that they're currently working on. That's from the old bridge approach west or north along Mark Twain Avenue towards, I think it's just past the Happy Stay Inn is what we're planning on. They're on schedule to get that completed by the end of August. They're installing roughly 6 to 7 6-foot sections of that box culvert a day. And so they're making pretty decent progress. They are installing a new sewer main as they go up through there. One downfall is they have hit some unknown water services along there. There were some water services that went south or west across the road, Mark Twain Avenue, and they were not on any of our records. And so when they were digging through there, we're about 110 pounds of pressure there. And so when they pull it out, it fills up the hole rather quickly. Good thing is we got that new storm sewer and it goes away when our guys are able to get to it. We did have a section of main that the trench wall collapsed the other day and pulled it down. We installed some new valving and hopefully have minimal impact on the customers moving forward. Phase 3 of that project, the city is getting roughly $4.8 million of federal money to continue that project on. And so plan would be working with the Corps of Engineers who have the approval authority to get that project out to bid later this year with a start date sometime in the spring of 2027. And that would extend that box culvert all the way up to roughly Grand Avenue. And then on the electric side of things, the tie line that we've talked about in the past, it's a 34.5 kV tie line between Oakwood substation down here at the corner of Orchard Avenue and Warren Barrett to our south side substation, which is at 5th and Lion. We've bid it out a couple times, got unfavorable results, and with the Indian Mound substation, kind of took a back burner. But since we've got that project completed, we've been searching for funding. We think we've got an option for funding, grant funding. The only thing is right now that those applications are not being accepted. We think they're going to be accepted later this fall, so we'll keep you updated on that. So that's all I've got for projects reports.
Any questions?
Hey, Matt, there was last month you talked about a line that they had found down there at the bottom of Cardiff Hill and Mark Twain Avenue. Did they ever find anything out about that?
Yeah, we were able to find where it connected there at Cardiff Hill or Rock Street. It goes diagonally across Mark Twain Avenue and ties into I think it's an existing 16 or 14-inch water main on the south side of the road there.
Okay. All right. I thought last month you said that they were unsure of where it came in, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Got a question. A few meetings ago, could have been more than that, you were talking about the replacement of the lead and water pipes, and you were waiting for regulatory direction on who's responsible for what and whether there was funding available. Have you seen anything done on that?
I attended a conference last month, I guess it was, National Water Conference, and you've got it across the board. There's not enough funding to do what we think we have to do at this point. We're estimating somewhere between 8 to 15,000 per service line. We've got roughly 4,800, I think, is what we've estimated. Now, some of those may have been changed out, and we just don't have the records of it. So we're looking somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 to $60 million to do a total replacement. There's an issue with private property rights that isn't necessarily settled. It's actually against this LCRI, lead and copper rule improvement. It's against it to do a partial replacement. So if we wanted to go out and replace up to the stop box or the curb box or to a water meter, they do not want you to do that unless it's an emergency or part of a larger replacement project. And we just right now don't have enough information to tackle how to get into the house, if we want to get into the house, who pays for what. And so we have to have a plan in place by the 1st of November of 2027. While I was out attending that conference, there was a group of industry professionals that were working on putting together a complete plan. If you're needing to put together this plan, these are the items you need to look at, and that is going to come out later this year. Our plan would be to get the information that we need what we think we need to put in that plan together by this fall, wait for that stuff to come out, and then really hammer down on trying to get that plan put together next year. And so when we get to the November deadline, we have something that's workable.
And that's all you're required to have
A plan by then. And then starting in January 1st of 2028, you have to replace 10% per year. So if we didn't change our number, we'd have to replace 480 services per year. And it's a big tracking nightmare because you may not want your lead service line replaced. It's been fine. You don't care. But if you were to sell your home, there's some certain information in the regulation that now we have to track which homes sell. We have a certain amount of time to contact that new owner to try to talk them into replacing it as well. So it's a big nut to crack, and we're trying to gather all the information, get as much put together so we can make a best stab at it and work with our board and
There's
ultimately
still a
the
lot
city.
of gray area so far as the Missouri state rules. There's federal LCRI, and then there's the Missouri, and again, we're kind of waiting for what are the rules we're playing by.
Sounds like you had a little more direction than the last time we meeting, but not.
There's a little bit more direction, but again, anytime you're entering somebody's house, because the rule is you have to replace up to the first joint inside the house. So, we've had a lot of historic homes here or older homes that I don't want to drill through somebody's foundation wall because it's going to leak next time it rains. And they've got a family heirloom that sits there in the basement, and it poses a lot of liability problems that we need to get really figured out before we move forward.
There's a lot of heirlooms in Hannibal. And one of the problems we also have is there's a lot of communities that have, Nixa, I think, they started getting built in 1989. Well, 1988 and 86 on, that's when they could no longer put lead in the line. So they had zero. So there's a lot of communities, they're fine. They've been able to socialize the cost. They've done the 100, 20, 50, whatever they have. We have 4,800 of them because we started building lead lines back in 1901. So for those, we've got just a lot. And so we're almost kind of on our own. Other states have socialized it all. Do you socialize that cost? Or is it the people that have that lead service lines at their responsibility? Those are all questions that we're going to put on these gentlemen, and we're really glad that they're going to have the answers.
Sounds like a lawyer's.
Could be.
Lawyers already really busy, but yes, let it
So Matt, when, in Hannibal, what is the year for, that we did, is it 1980 something?
I mean, a lot of ours, 86 is the statutory date. What we've ran into is you may have somebody that went back and built a house on a lot that either was a home demoed, a structure fire, or something of that. So you may have between the main and the meter still being lead. You also have to replace anything downstream of lead, or if it was galvanized downstream of lead. So, going back through our records, we've got a lot of old records. We had an intern help us out. I mean, if it showed that we had lead, until we have other identifying proof, we have to assume it's lead, and it counts against us. So
Is this a federal law?
it is a federal law, yes.
We also, in Hannibal, it is the homeowner's responsibility from the water main to the home. So all of that is not ours as of today. So
That's why I'm curious of why they don't want you to go from the meter back and get it least, that way you have accomplished your portion of it, but they don't want you
I
to do
mean,
that.
technically, I mean, we shouldn't touch any of it, but I mean, it makes no sense to me if we went in your house, say you had a lead service line, we go in your house, cut it off the wall, run new copper, new poly, whatever, and you still have lead service line or lead line in your house. What improvement did we do?
Right.
Now we've disturbed an old lead line that we could put particulate lead in there and have an issue with.
And if we only do partial, if you disturb that line, it's actually our responsibility to provide a filter for the home for the next, is it 6 months?
So you're just causing more problems.
Correct. And so we have to provide filter if we've disturbed it, and
There's additional testing that comes with this new LCRI as well. You've got to do follow-up testing. Right now previously we were doing 30 tests every 3 years, trying to maintain the same ones. What they're looking at is how acidic is your water? Is it stripping lead or copper out of your service line or water pipe material, and is the customer being impacted? They've also used to be you couldn't use the water for 6 hours prior to the test, and you use the first liter. Well, now they want you to do the first liter and the fifth liter to try to look different parts of the service line. So,
Per our ordinances, though, everything from the meter, whether it's sewer or water, is the customer's
from the main,
responsibility.
from the main,
From the main, yes. So,
but it still doesn't get us off the hook
well, I
because we're the
understand
one that
but
holds the permit.
legally, I mean, do we think the government can say you have to replace everything up to the house? Or do we have legal standing to say, no, that's not how it works?
But you're missing the issue, Barry. They think they can do it. So when the feds come in and tell you to do it, and if you don't do it, then they'll come in and they'll take you to court. DOJ or whoever will come take you to court, and then they'll offer you a consent order where they say, okay, we won't fine you $10,000 a day if you agree that you'll do thus and so, and we'll do it because they've got all the power and we don't. Now, to your point, we don't have the ability to go in and force people to let us do it.
Correct.
So if the city was inclined to argue with the feds, et cetera, we'd have a good faith basis to do it. But I think we're probably going to have to consider doing some kind of a plan where we offer to do it. If the feds are going to push us forward, we're going to have to offer that we'll do it. Anybody that refuses to allow us to do it, I think we've got a defense to those. But we're probably going to have to come up with some kind of plan where we say we will pay for it and we will install it. It's yet another unfunded Band-Aid that the feds have come down with.
Yeah, wrong.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you're talking about, because as soon as you touch that wall, every leak from then on is now your problem.
Or you go down, walk across a hardwood floor to go down in the basement to get to that, and you scratch the floor. Or, I mean, it's just a lot of things we got to.
But there's probably not people that will say anything.
Probably not. It was gold-plated floor. What are you talking about?
rose-colored
Well, if you
glasses,
look
I
at
like it.
some of the houses in town here, those basement walls are 3 feet thick. Stone, not concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine trying to drill through that to.
And you add cost with landscaping,
Sure.
We have some rock in our soil here, and so, if you go with some type of trenchless technology, say you directional drill or whatever, if you get a rock that sticks up there and now you've kinked that service line or put a tore it or something of that nature, you won't own that service line.
Well, we've got, what, 2 years to come up with a plan for that?
And there's nothing in there that establishes who
That's
pays for
work.
it in the federal law.
Golden ticket.
They say you can force it on the customer, but they put enough of the other requirements, like I mentioned earlier, if the house changes hands, you have so many days to go, or so many months to go and approach those new owners. I mean, what are we gonna do? Watch the county recordings and see who bought a new, I mean, it just requires a lot of time.
I think it'd be a lot easier to get people to just say, I'll sign off that I don't want it if you charge the customer.
You need to have the
But
insurance that goes
at the
along
same
with
time-
contractor's license.
Even if it isn't a financial nightmare, it'll be a PR nightmare. You have to prepare for that as well.
And these discussions
Is there
in
no,
public, we
is there no
gotta,
grandfather clause for it?
No.
No.
I mean, a person can decline it, but again, when that property changes hands, you got a certain period of time. You got to make contact with the new owners, and what if it's in an area of town you've moved on from? Now you've already repaved the street, and now you go back and you dig up a new street again. I mean, it just
I think James and I, we've talked, could you take and have a waiver? The homeowner says, I waive this, I'm not going to have a problem. But at the sale of the property, it will be fixed before the next person takes and picks it up and runs. I mean, but it would be a legal document, something that we'd have to make happen.
Well, we could probably do something where we could set it up where they'd let us record it in the land records. Because if it pops up in the land records, when a title company checks it, they're going to go, hey, we got to notify the buyer, blah, blah, blah. We could probably figure a way
Or
that,
trigger something to where you don't have
Trigger
to have
something where
someone
it's
in
not-
here that remembers it or whatever.
correct, so if we could figure something where if they sign something saying they don't want that done, because it's their signature, we can attach it to the legal description. Then when a title company goes to do the search, when there's a sale, they can kick it in and say, okay, you guys are gonna have, and we could do something probably like put in a requirement that they have to notify the Board of Public Works and have to provide proof in order to get past it, something like that. So that would be actually moderately easy to do, so.
And I think that'd be a great start.
Sorry. It could be part of the title search too, put a
If,
mark on the title, so. it
yeah,
comes
if we put it in the land records, the title companies will find it, and if we put some kind of requirement that they, in order to close, they have to show that they gave written notice to the board, and that would be sufficient, that way we would know.
Yeah.
So what does that do hypothetically if somebody's building a new house, but the main is lead, or the line coming to the main is lead, but the new house from the main to the house is all new?
We want them to replace it from the main. We want that new house to
We
be
ha-
served by one that goes from the main to that home with a new line with absolutely no lead in it.
we have no lead mains that we're aware of. So anything would
So
be
anything tying into it would
anything.
be
What
lead-free
we're working with the building inspectors, if say you wanted to build on a lot that previously had a lead service line, according to our records, we would not allow them to reuse it. We would require them to go back out and tap to the main.
So in the entire city, all of our mains are updated to no lead, correct? We don't have any lead.
That's
Best of
main
the records that we have.
So
It's
our
all
biggest
cast
thing-
iron, ductile iron, and
Our
PVC.
biggest problem is then from the main to the property,
Yes.
as far as that goes.
Mhm.
And that still doesn't drop the amount of people that we would have to change down any.
No. Because the records that we have are the 4,800 number that we came up to. I mean, roughly 4,800 is based upon our service records. So anytime a person came in and signed up for a service tap, they filled out their name, their address. Our crews put 58 feet of lead. Tap made from so many feet from this oak tree, so much from this corner of a house. I mean, and so there's a lot of detailed records there, but it's just not.
So would it be cheaper to do, instead of replacing from the main to the house, selling the people a filter that filters it out? Or is the
I don't
government not
think
gonna
that's
be happy with that? They're gonna want the lead pipe gone, period.
I think it's. I don't think the filter satisfies the government's or the regulation. The lead line needs to be gone, because if say I put a filter in my house and then you bought it, I could have took the filter off before you bought the house, and then you're no more the wiser for it. Just
So,
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And we've established we're not going to have a report from Paul for the financial report. Is there any, Darren, any comments or anything you wanted to mention with the financial report?
it is the end of year, so I'm going to really truly, if you have questions, talk to Paul. He's doing the end of year, wrapping that up, so we're starting a brand new. He'll have that end of year the next time, and
Okay.
at least heavily on the way. So
All right.
he's working. I promise you, he's putting in his hours and
Sure
working
he
hard
is.
on it.
All right, we'll move on to unfinished business. You want to reschedule our August board meeting?
Yes, I will not be here on the 17th of August, and I would request that we move that to the August 24th, if everybody's calendar works for that.
I'd make that motion.
On which date, I'm sorry?
Instead of the 17th of August, it'll be August 24th.
August 24th. I think we already made this change, didn't we?
Did we?
We tabled it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't table it, but, yeah, stand by just a sec. Let me check my calendars, make sure I'm still off that day.
I already have it in there.
Good job.
Ah.
Yeah, it looks like I'm good with that. I'll second that motion.
All right. All approved?
Aye.
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 All right.
Thank you.
August 24th it is. 4 p.m. still, right?
Yes.
Okay. Comments from the city attorney?
I don't have any comments.
No comments. General discussion? Anybody have anything?
I do have one thing I want the board to consider, and it's been brought up before, but, well, two things, actually. One is moving the meeting times farther out, like 6 o'clock, 6:30 instead of 4 o'clock. So people that are getting off of work at 5 o'clock or 5:30 can attend the meetings. And the second is, I would like the board to put a proposal to the city council for the April election to consider adding a fifth person to the Board of Public Works. And that's something we can
I
discuss
think,
between now and then.
do we need to have like a special, meeting or just, what do we need to do there?
Basically, it would be you as the president of the board would just ask to be on the city agenda, the council agenda, and say that the board either backs or doesn't back, however we decide to do it, adding a fifth person to the Board of Public Works. And, but it's in the charter that there's 4, correct?
Correct.
So we would have to have city council approve it, or put it on the ballot to add a fifth person.
Is it too late to put it on the August ballot, I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Or not the August, the
Way too late.
November, I'm sorry, the November.
There's
ballot.
only 2 weeks to that one, Cole.
What do you see? the
Right,
advantages
no,
of the fifth?
You should never have a
I
board
meant
that has
November.
4 people.
But isn't the mayor
Sometimes I forget what month I'm
responsible?
in.
Correct, but he is not a sitting board member.
Just so you don't have ties.
You should never have a board that has 4, an even number of people.
I thought it was strange myself, but
I've always
reading the
thought
clause
that.
with the
That's-
mayor,
That's, it's just something I've always thought, even sitting in as mayor and on council and stuff, is, I've always wondered why we have 4 people, not 5.
Because the charter was written in like 1950
Correct.
or 62, something like that. At any rate, back then, the board met, they didn't have these nice offices, they met at City Hall.
Right.
In the afternoon, the mayor was the executive officer. We didn't have a city manager. So if the board got hung, they'd go, hey, somebody go get the mayor and bring him in here.
Right.
It's a different world is the
Right.
thing. So,
so we would rescind that responsibility of the mayor upon a fifth.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have it needed for a tiebreaker.
And with his busy social life, it's easier that we don't interrupt. I'm just not a big fan
I
of
agree.
even numbered boards are
I-
always a problem.
I do.
I've agreed with that since well, for a long time, and I think even most people on the board currently are of the same mind. So I don't see there's an issue with us actually talking to the city. I'll talk to I'll talk with Daryl or
You just
try to
need
get on the
with,
agenda.
yeah, get with Melissa and see what time you have to have it on.
Right.
I don't know if we'd have enough time for the November election, or if the city has anything on the November election.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
But,
wouldn't want to.
yeah,
We wouldn't want to put it on an election where we don't have anything on there.
right.
But if
Well,
we have the April election, of course, we have two council members will be elected. Well, 3, I guess, this year. So we could slip it in April, and it's not a big deal. I don't think anybody would not approve of adding a 5th person. You know, it is Hannibal, so you may have some people vote for that, but that's just, I think that's a good start with us to have 5 people instead of 4. And as far as timing
I don't
goes, I
disagree
know
with
we've
that.
talked about it before, moving the time back to 6 or 6:30. You know, it's something we can discuss. It's not something that, it's in the chart, it's not in the charter, so we could change it anytime.
And we can put that on next month's
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
to-do list.
Yes.
I
We can
agree.
discuss it at that meeting.
I'd like to discuss it then.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right. So we want to move into closed session.
Yes.
Okay. So what do I do to do that?
I just need a motion. You can make it.
I need a motion or I make a motion that we move into closed session.
So read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
your
But
closed
do I have to
session
do this
thing,
first before we vote
Yeah.
that we're
And
going,
then-
good to go?
In
Okay.
accordance.
read
yeah.
who you're gonna have
Yeah.
available for it.
All right. So pursuant to section 610.02112 of the Missouri Sunshine Law, the board will convene in closed session to discuss contractual matters. And admit into closed session, board members Darren Gordon, Matthew Munslinger, Courtney Harris, James Lemon, and Maria Coons, and the, what?
And then the mayor.
And the mayor and Doug Healy.
Need a second.
Second.
I'll second that.
We have a second. We gotta do roll call for this, right?
Yep.
Painter,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Lucky,
Yes.
Lauderman.
Yes.
All right.